All right, so I want to do this video. This is some nerd out shit. So if you're not into recording and listening to how songs are broken down, and because I'm gonna break a song down, how I write a song, and so if you're not into all that nerd out music shit, just fucking turn it off now. But I want to talk about how I write songs, and this particular song was all spontaneous. I have songs that I've sat on for fucking years, music that I tweaked over months or over even years, and this song was different. This was a totally spontaneous song. I wrote it right on the spot. So I want to talk about how awesome it is to write a song spontaneously and just fucking leave it the way it is and just accept it for what it is and not really try to fuck with it or tweak it. And it's also about my influences, like how my influences come out in my music. And Jimmy Page said a cool thing. He's like, with playing music, try to find your voice in your music. Like that's what makes you unique. But for me, all my influences I put into my music. So like, if I write something, I'd be like, oh, it sounds like this, or oh, it sounds like that. I'm not necessarily trying to make it sound like this or that, but my influences come out so strong that I'll hear something like, oh, okay, that's this band, that's that artist. My influences come out strong, but when I put it all together, I like to think it's me and that's my voice. But some people will shy away from, they don't want to sound like anything, but for me, it's whatever comes out, and I'm happy with it. I accept it, and I'll hear something be like, "Oh yeah, that's the Misfits," or "Oh yeah, that's Faith No More," or "That's Metallica," or whatever fucking band that I like, whatever music I was influenced by, will come out in my music, and I'm happy with it, and I'll laugh about it. So for this particular song, it started out with a riff. A lot of my songs start out with riffs. So I had my acoustic guitar in my hand. I'm out back, and this fucking sounds crazy. I am crazy. I get shit. Shit comes out of the air. I pull shit right out of the air. This song came out of the trees. I got 4 big ass trees in my backyard, and I'm back there with my guitar, and bam! I looked up. The song idea came out of the trees. I immediately got the riff, and then I got the idea for the lyrics right away, and that's why I called the song "Ignite," because the main line in the song is "We're here to ignite," and that's what came out of the trees, and the guitar riff came out of the trees. So it started off with an acoustic guitar riff. And that's it. That was the riff. I said, okay. And then I had the lyric idea in my head. So then from that riff, I said, okay. I sat down at my drums when I went to record this. So I said, okay, I'll start off with the acoustic guitar riff because that's how I originally came up with the song. I said, all right, I'll keep that. And I said, all right, well, now I want to make it electric. So then when I sat down to record, I just took the riff and turned it into an electric part. Same riff, but through a fucking amp and my fucking guitar. So that was it. I said, okay. So then I was like, all right, I got my electric riff. All right, so I was like, let me sit down at the drums. And I'm a drummer first. That's what I started out doing. That's what I was in a band. I was a drummer. So But for this particular song, I just laid back. I just kept it real simple, and I played to the song. I played for the song. I played for the riff. I didn't do any crazy shit. And I sat down and this was it. I fucking laid back, grooved it. And this is what I recorded the first time. Matter of fact, I recorded the whole goddamn thing in one take. Sat down and this is what I played. I got the acoustic going. That's the song. Guitar. Then I started putting accents in, drum accents. Followed it with the guitar. Palm mutes. Accent in the drums with the guitar. A couple fills here and there, but I pretty much just fucking laid back in the cut. So that's it. That's how I fucking recorded the song. And then from there, I was like, all right, well, I need a bass line. And then again, the bass line, I played with it a little bit because I was doing some complex shit on the bass. I was like, wait a minute. So I fucked around a little bit and spent some time on the bass line. But I came up with this bass line. I was like, what? It's just gnarly. Actually, I did two. I did a low end and then a fucking gnarly top end. I did a totally different groove on the bass. I was just fucking, I started soloing on the bass. I went a totally different direction. And I didn't even know if it was going to fit. I was just like, this sounds sick. I wanted a totally different direction on the bass. I started doing a different pattern rhythm, but it fit with the drums. The drums were simple. And then from there, I was like, all right. So I said, I need more guitars. So I started layering guitars. So I had my main riff. Alright, that was my main riff, and then I layered a second guitar, but I did the low. I do everything on 7 strings, so then there's the 7 string. I played on the low B string, all the. Make it fat, make it fucking big. So then I was like, all right, I need a lead riff. So I layered a lead riff over it. And the lead riff, my lead riff was just did this gnarly fucking 1-string thing over the top. And then that's when I stopped. Said, okay, I'm doing this gnarly guitar. And it reminded me of the Ghetto Boys. It was like they used to have these gnarly 1-string riffs that they'd fucking sample over their song. And I was like, all right, that reminds me of the Ghetto Boys. Because I used to really be into, all the hardcore rap and shit in the 90s. So I was laughing. I'm saying, okay, that's a Ghetto Boy riff. So then when you layer all the guitars, you get a fucking just a wall of guitar. Then you add the bass in. Fucking gnarly bass. Then add the drums in. That was it. All on the spot. All spontaneous. Didn't put much thought into it. All spontaneous. I just fucking banged it out in like one day. Like I said, spent a little time in the bass line, but it was all spontaneous. I didn't go back. I didn't say, oh, I need more fills or need more guitars. It was just, that's what I had. And I was like, I like it. I'm just going to keep it the way it is. So now back to my vocals. So when I started singing my vocals over this section of the song, let me find my vocals. Vocals main. Vocals Greg. Now I had my nephews come in on this song to collaborate. So my one nephew Bobby, he did the guitar. He did a guitar solo. Again, spontaneous. I was just like, fucking play something. I'm gonna record it. And whatever he came out with, that's what I kept. And luckily, what he did was sick. I'll get to that later. Same thing with Jake. This different section of the song that he sang in, I left that section for him. But I came up with a line for that section, and I sang it, and I stopped. I said, all right, let me stop, because I want to leave this for Jake. So we'll get to that later. But starting off in the beginning of the song, again, I come back to my influences. When I started this off with the acoustic, so I started singing. You're always still free to speak our minds. The voice of the age. Be careful what you say, or they'll take your life away. Addicted with data, put in the matrix. So they say. All is at time, as long as you do exactly what they say. So again, the lyrics all spontaneous. I wrote these lyrics down. I recorded the music, and when I started going to do my vocals, I didn't have nothing. I just had a piece of paper in front of me, and I started jotting down lines, and those are the lines I used. I might have, tweaked them a little bit here and there, but again, it was all spontaneous. I didn't think about it. I didn't spend time on it. It's not like I wrote lyrics beforehand and brought them in. I wrote the music, and I sat down and just started fucking writing down words. So then when I'm listening back, I'm like, right away I heard it. I said, oh, that's Mike Patton. Those creepy whisper vocals. I said, that's Faith No More. There it is. There's my influence. That's Mike Patton. That's the influence I was going for. That was the sound I was going for that part. And that's how it came out. It wasn't intentional. When I played it back, I'm laughing to myself. I was like, totally fucking Faith No More. So then when we get to the heavy part, do exactly what they say. You gotta look for other ways to find peace. Search out another avenue to be set free. An amazing sign to keep you lost. You gotta cast out all these demons at any fucking cost. Fear is a flame, and with a gasoline, burning so bright for the world to see. Now hold the fuck up, cause the devil got it wrong. We're here to make it right. We're here to ignite. Well, again, I just jotted fucking lyrics down as I was recording it. And so then when I got to this vocal part, this is where I'm just trying to be myself and sing. I don't know how it's going to come out. I've only been singing for fucking, at this point, a year and a half. I hate my voice. I'm a terrible singer, but I have all this music and I couldn't find a singer. Most singers are douchebags. So I said, fuck it. I'm just going to do it myself. I'm going to teach myself how to sing. It sounds like shit, but I don't care. At least I have music that I make with my words, my emotions, my anger. And the way my voice is the way my voice is. You either fucking like it or you hate it. I don't give a shit. For me, if it fills my heart, that's what music is. I do this shit for me. I do this music for me. I put it out there. I ain't trying to get fans. I ain't trying to impress nobody. People listen to it. If they like it, cool. If not, all right, whatever. I don't give a fuck. I'm doing it for myself. I have to do this, because if I don't do this, I would have ended up in jail. I'd be a serial killer, whatever. I gotta have, music is my release, So I'm listening to the lyrics. I'm listening to the vocal style. I'm like, okay, when this comes out, this is Long Island hardcore, and I'm singing, and right away I heard the influence. I said, "Oh, that's Neglect," you know, that's the vocal style, Long Island hardcore vocal style, with just sounding like a nut job, and I was like, "That's Neglect. That's the vocal, like, fucking LSS and fucking fucking what was it? That style that it's just like I don't know, and that's what comes out. That's what came out. I said, okay, that's a hardcore, Long Island hardcore singing style. You gotta look for a place to find peace. Search out another avenue to be set free. An amazing sign to keep you on. You gotta cast out all these demons at any fucking cost. Spirit is a flame, and with a gasoline, burning so bright. Then I got the backing vocals. Now all the fuck up, 'cause the devil got it wrong. We're here to make it right. We're here till we die. Unlock all the doors. Throw away the key to your mind. All my backing vocals, I mean, I purposely go for that. It's Ramones, the Misfits, the Whoa Whoa Whoas, and I love the big backing vocals. I love the whoas, and I do that in a lot of my music, and that's an instant fucking Misfit Ramones ripoff. And I know that, and I don't give a fuck. I love it. I love doing it. I love singing it. I love hearing it. And that's what I always do, a lot of that big fucking backing vocal, Misfit style shit. The goes, go! I do a lot of the goes, and, I do all that shit to drive the music along, and that's what comes out naturally. But when I do this stuff, yeah, in that case, it's like, all right, I'm going to do some fucking Misfit backing vocals, and I know I'm intentionally doing it. Unlock all the doors, throw away the key to your mind. Yeah, 'cause we're here. So that was it. That's the whole section of that song, and that section ends, and then I started fucking around with keyboards and synthesizers a couple years back, and I'm really into Fear Factory, and I love how they throw, synth into heavy music. And then I'm like, all right, well, what if you threw fucking synth into hardcore music? What if you took Long Island hardcore, New York hardcore, and threw fucking keyboards in it? Fuck it, who cares, man? It's like you're baking a cake. Just fucking throw whatever it is, throw it in and see how it comes out after you bake it, So, but, and then this was like, I had this keyboard part that I made like maybe a year ago. And again, this was spontaneous. This was just me fucking around on the keyboards. I'm a big Phil Collins fan. And I heard the synth when it came back, and I'm like, okay, this reminds me of Phil Collins. And then I didn't know what I was going to do with the vocals, but I know I was going to do something like, echoey, reverb, spacey. And I wrote this one line. The stars are so clear tonight, but something inside me has died. So that's all I came up with. I came up with that one line. The stars are so clear tonight, but something inside me has died. And the line just came to me. And I remember when I came up with the line, I was fucking sitting outside in the middle of the night looking up at the stars. And I was I was going through a really rough time in my life, and I was fucking depressed, and I felt dead inside. And like, I'm looking up into the sky, and I wasn't feeling the excitement I felt when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, and you look up at fucking stars and get excited, and I couldn't feel those feelings no more. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? So that's where I came up with that line. So I stopped myself. I said, wait, let me stop, because I was holding this part for my nephew. So when my nephew came, I was like, all right, do whatever you want. We're going to do spontaneous. And he's a stickler. He likes to do something and fucking craft it and work on it for days and weeks. And it made him uncomfortable. And I forced him. I'm like, nah, Jake, just fucking do it. Like, just do it. And whatever it is, I'm keeping it. and he like reluctantly did it, and he hated it. He didn't like it, but I thought it was incredible. So he heard that line, and he's like, "Oh, I like that. I like those lyrics." He's like, "All right, keep that, keep that." And right on the spot, bam, he came up with this. This is what he came up with. But something inside me has died. The stars are so clear tonight. But something inside me has died. The stars are so clear. We just repeated that line. Something inside me has died. And we just like went with that. I got to stop the video right now. I'll do a part 2. We'll pick this up from what my nephew was doing and the influence that just popped out.